Whether you'd like to cover your basic cost of living expenses, put a little extra money into savings, or make some generous donations to Wall Street, $100 a day can actually make a huge difference. From my personal experience, making $100 a day online in a somewhat passive manner is some of the most magical, life-changing money that I've made. Just being able to pay essential bills or have some extra cash coming in can enable you to pursue businesses, hobbies, or whatever you find meaningful in life. In this video, I want to share with you 5 products that you could start selling online today that can get you to $100 a day fairly easily and hopefully far beyond that. Now, for this first product to make sense, we have to talk about this guy, Jim Carrey. Now, early in his acting career in 1985, Jimmy wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, payable Thanksgiving 10 years later in 1995. He then carried that fake check in his wallet until 1994, when he was actually paid the real $10 million for his role in Dumb and Dumber. Now, this story just illustrates his belief in visualization and manifestation, transforming thoughts or that check he wrote himself into reality. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because regardless of whether or not you believe in manifestation or transforming thought energy into reality, a lot of people do believe in it, and they want to duplicate this kind of success. And that's exactly why this first shop has been so successful. This shop, called Manifestable, is absolutely killing it, selling these digital download manifestation planners and journals. They have this very clear aesthetic on all of their products, and they sell everything from digital stickers to student calendars, and they only have 24 listings. They're selling almost everything for $5 to $6, but since it's a digital download, they keep almost all of it in profit. Even if you don't have experience making planners, calendars, or stickers, it's probably pretty easy to pick up. They're just making it as a template, so the customer gets a PDF and the template file to use inside of GoodNotes. They've just taken the digital planner, digital sticker product and targeted the manifestation niche with it and been extremely profitable. Now, using a tool called Allura, which I'll leave a link for down below, we can see that over the last year, almost to this day, they've made over $670,000. And just in this month, they've made $56,000. Again, almost all profit, just minus the Etsy fees since it's a digital product. And they've only been going for a year and they only have 24 products. This is why I always say that regardless of the competition, you can still make products work. This is just a great example of selling the same product as a ton of other people, but using unique targeting to absolutely kill it. I've chosen products that will work well if you're able to sell on eBay or Etsy, but if you aren't or you don't want to, you could still launch these products on your own Shopify store. The only real difference is eBay and Etsy drive their own organic traffic, so it's kind of like free marketing, but on Shopify, you'll have to drive your own traffic. I would give this profitability a 5 out of 5 since it is a digital product. The manifestation planner niche is at around 11,000 listings, so I would say this is less competitive than a lot of the other products. And the startup costs are going to be only about $10 if you need to pay for GoodNote, but that's only a one-time fee. Now, a product that's also quite popular and in a similar niche to what we just looked at is wall tapestries. Now, this would be kind of interesting to sell alongside the manifestation niche. I'm guessing that sometimes it's a similar crowd, but these are basically just cool-looking, kind of hippie wall tapestries. Now, this shop is selling these tapestries with all different kinds of designs on them, but mostly these kind of hippie-looking natural designs with a lot of plants, some mountains, and psychedelic mushroom-looking things. This shop really knows their target audience, so they can crank out products for them. Now, this shop opened a little over a year ago, and they're currently making around 6,600 Canadian dollars each month. Now, they're only at about 73 listings, so they could definitely up their listings and probably get more sales. There are more successful shops, like this one. They're doing similar things to the other shops, but they're also selling some of these more realistic style images that I think are doing quite well for them. This shop has sold quite a bit more, around 185,000 USD, and they're bringing in about $11,000 a month, which is a bit more than $100 a day in profit as well. Now, you might be wondering how we would even make and fulfill these tapestries if this is supposed to be a mostly passive side hustle, and the answer is print on demand. Print on demand is not like traditional dropshipping. You work with a company like Printify who provides you with white label products. These products could be a variety of different things, but in this example, we could just sell this tapestry. All I'd have to do to make the product is just upload a design. I made this design using AI, and then I can position it and scale it to however I want it to look, and then it's ready to sell. Since Printify connects directly with a bunch of different platforms, including Etsy, I can publish this product directly to my Etsy shop where it can be purchased. The interesting thing that a lot of beginners miss is that you don't pay for any product up front. You'll only ever pay after a customer has already bought a product from you. For example, if someone buys this tapestry that we've just made, we would have already made money. This means that when I click submit on the order in Printify, they'll charge me for the product, and then they'll print it and ship it off directly to the customer's door. And then I'm left with the difference as a profit. This is the business model that I've used for the last 4 years or so, and you guys are starting to see success as well. Over 750 people have signed up using my link from down below and started making money. And those are just the ones that I can track because they've signed up using my link. And almost 300 of those people came from just last month. So it's exciting to see that this method is working really well for you guys too. Now, the profit margins on this side hustle can vary depending on the complexity of the art, but I would have to give this one a 3.5 out of 5 since there's still potential to make a good profit, but it'll be harder to get those really good designs unless you're using AI. The competition for this one would be a bit harder. There's a lot of listings in this space, so you'd have to get really specific with your target and know who your audience is with your keywords, like the shops that we looked at. I'd have to say that this niche is moderate or hard to sell in. The startup costs would be quite low. If you can already make these kind of designs, then you're probably good to go for free. But if you need an image AI like Midjourney and an image upscaler, then you're probably looking at about $20 a month. Now, this next product is one that I've actually sold online myself. This was back in my early days, but it actually did really well for me and had great profit margins. The product was a map print. I stopped selling this product, which might sound like a red flag, but I only stopped because I was selling custom map prints and I wanted to stop selling all of the custom products so I could switch to pre-made products, which are a little bit more passive. Now, this shop sells pre-made and custom map prints. It's just a stylized map of an area with some labels on it. People buy these as decorations for their house or just as gifts to give to someone. This also makes your job as a designer super easy because you're basically just selling one product. It's just a stylized map and it can be for any location. This also means that your target audience is a lot larger because you can target people in multiple different cities, towns, states, or countries, or whatever you can think of. Allura estimates that this shop has done $445,000 in all-time sales, but for just this month, they've done around $6,200. So that means at a 50% profit margin, they're making about $100 a day. There are much more successful shops like this one, but they've also branched out into selling more similar custom items like these star maps and other somewhat related items. They've been much more successful though, making around 735,000 pounds, which I believe is about $1 million. And just this month, they've done about 27,000 pounds, which is about 35,000 USD. So much more than $100 a day. As for the score, profit margins would be a 4 out of 5. You're able to sell both digital and physical print-on-demand products, and your physical products still have a really good profit margin. The competition for map prints is very high at around 500,000 listings, but you're probably going to be more specific than that. You would want to sell specific locations. So for example, a Los Angeles map, this would show you that there's not a lot of competition at all if you're selling specific locations. So very low competition. Startup costs would only include the software that you would use to generate the maps if needed, but when I was selling these, I always found a way to get it for free. So this can be a literal zero startup cost, but if you do need the software, you'll probably be looking at around $50 a month. I live in the lovely state of Colorado, and one thing that I've noticed living here is that if you go into some of the local shops, either downtown or in the mountains, they're basically just like real life Etsy shops. And as I've done more traveling, I'm kind of realizing that's the case everywhere. But one thing that all of these shops always sell is dish towels. It's like a staple of any local shop. But you could just sell it online with no financial risk or having to open up a physical brick and mortar business. Look at this shop that only sells dish towels. Most of them are custom, so I guess people like having their name on dish towels, but they're all really simple designs that you could easily make inside of Canva. They're making monthly about 518 sales, so if they're making roughly a $6 profit on each order, that'd be about $100 a day. There's a lot of other shops that sell dish towels more successfully. This shop, I'm almost certain, is using AI to make their graphics. I mean, look at the text on this bottle here. It looks exactly like an AI would do. And this shop sells dish towels but they've also branched out into a lot of other products to help them get even more sales, and they're doing a lot more, around $30,000 a month. For the score on this one, your profit margins are lower than some of the other ideas because you do have to sell a physical product, and a lot of people don't want to pay a big premium since it is a common product. So I'd give it around a 2.5 out of 5 for profit. Just remember that you could always use this as an additional product or add additional products to this store to get even more sales in the home goods niche. The competition for these towels is getting into the competitive range, but if you're smarter about it and you targeted something like the Monogram dish towels, you can be more specific and reduce your competition significantly. So I would consider this under 10,000 listings to be low. You wouldn't have to pay for Canva to make designs. You could do everything inside of Figma for free. And the shop that we looked at only has 58 listings. So if you used my link below, you get 40 free listings and you can start this business for basically $0. Idea number 5 is a similar concept to what we saw with the first shop, which is selling a product that a lot of other people are selling, but to a new niche group. And this shop is selling tote bags and pencil bags and kids. This is kind of a unique angle because they just offer the customer to change the name on the front of the bag before it's printed. What I like about this shop is they're offering blank items, which they can fulfill at a super low cost, and it kind of acts as their price bait. And then they're offering a 1 or 2-sided print. That means that even on the 1-sided print option, they're still making around $8.50 each order. If they're doing 739 sales each month on average, that's over $6,200 a month or just $200 a day. So even if you were half as successful, you could still make $100 a day. The profit margins on this item are pretty good, almost 50%, which means you don't have to sell as many items per month to still make a good income. Just like the first shop that we talked about, they're selling the same product as everyone else, just with a unique angle. The issue with this product is that if you don't have a good angle to take, you're competing with over 1 million other listings. So this niche has to get a 1 out of 5 for competition, unless you've got that good angle. As for the startup costs, this business doesn't have any. You might spend a few dollars on the mockups, but everything else can be done completely for free inside of Figma or any other design software. And speaking of making designs, if you don't know how to make them, you can watch this video next, which will teach you all of the tools you need to make t-shirt or any other kind of designs that you could think of. I hope this video was helpful, and as always, I'll talk to you soon.